Hello to everyone listening to this. So today I wanted to talk about Star Wars Rogue One. Saw this a few days ago. Today is Monday, but I actually saw it on what was that? It was Friday. I actually saw it. So it's been a few days. I've been meaning to post the or in this case audio about this. And I have a about the previous Star Wars. I think I made a video on that, I guess last year. And I've seen, at least according to my memory, I've seen every Star Wars film, major film released in the theater. So not necessarily upon release. I think the New Hope, released in '77. Have a strong memory of seeing that in the theater, but I don't think that memory is from that time. It's probably from a re-release. So I probably saw, but I know I saw that in the theater when I was young, and the rest I have clearer memories of seeing. Um, yeah, I've seen all of them, and that wasn't really by design. It's just something that I just realized at one point. So now, whenever a Star Wars movie is released, I go to see it. So it's kind of a little tradition that I have. And I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan. I don't have anything in Star Wars within my house. I mean, so other than going to the movies, I don't really do much else. I remember when I was a kid, they had like a Star Wars comic book, and I remember thinking it was one of the worst comics. It just even if you were interested in the Star Wars films, it didn't really, I don't know, it just didn't really deepen my interest in any way. Although I did have some Star Wars toys. I remember that. I did have a few of them. The Bounty Hunter Star Wars character. I remember having a toy, action figure with him. So I did have those toys. I might have had R2D2 and C3PO. So that was when I was very young. At this point, I don't have anything Star Wars within my house, so I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan other than going to the films. Now, this is one of my favorite of the last, I don't know, four releases that they've done. This might be my favorite of the last four releases of the Star Wars films. I think it was very well made. It looked great. The action sequences were good. The characters were decent. And like most Star Wars films, the storyline itself is not really great. I mean, it's well, let me take that back a little bit. Not that the storyline is not great, but it's not complex. So, I mean, it's just the rebels versus the Empire, and that's the common theme throughout all the Star Wars films. So I don't really judge it based on story. I just based it on enjoyment of watching the film. And, I also saw it in 3D IMAX. So I just really enjoyed the experience of being in front of that big screen and the 3D. Now, one thing about the 3D, and I noticed this on the previous 3D Star Wars film as well. I don't think they explored the 3D option enough. Some of the testing before the movie comes on, and even some of the trailers, the 3D trailers that they show, you see things flying right at you, you know, and that didn't really happen at all in the Star Wars film. You just see things kind of, it adds a third dimension to it, but you don't really get a 3D effect where things are coming right at you. You just have a more immersed viewing of the movie, but it doesn't really have things, I mean, explosions or aircraft or whatever flying right at you. And you could really get that effect if they decided to use it. But I think because the film is like a dual release where you can actually purchase a non 3D ticket to the movie, and then for future viewing, um, the movie is going to be on some type of media that isn't 3D. So if it overplays the 3D element to the movie, it might not come off that well when you're looking at it in two dimensions. So I kind of understand it, but I wish they would explore the 3D a little bit more. Maybe in fight sequences or something, you have something coming right at you more, so that you can maybe jump out your seat. Because if you really use that effect, it can really be great. But overall, the movie itself was really good, and I think anyone that's a Star Wars fan or general science fiction movie fan would enjoy it.